Welcome to It Came From a Box. This is Sir Joe I Am speaking. So right after we picked up the Nintendo Switch on launch, we pre-ordered a ton of accessories that took a long time to get to our door. But now we got them all here together, so here's a look at 11 Nintendo Switch accessories. Here we go. So first up, Joy-Con controllers. Not much to say here that I didn't already say in the review, but the first reason I picked up an extra pair was to have enough for 4 players. That's the beauty of the Joy-Cons. You don't have to buy 3 additional controllers, just 1 more since they split up into 4. Yes, they're still a bit pricey since there's a lot of tech in there, but there's not much else we can do about that. The second reason is because the colors are also the opposite of the ones that come with the Switch Neon version. That means we can have 2 blue Joy-Cons or my favorite, 2 red. I can safely say that the Pro Controller ranks as one of the best controllers I've personally ever used. Considering we have the Joy-Cons, this isn't really necessary, but once you try it, I feel like you may just be convinced. First, it gives us a traditional layout that many are accustomed to, and it's a size which really feels comfortable in hand. It has these nice plastic grips that almost feel like rubber, and it's covered in these small dimples which help keep it from sliding in your hands. And like the Joy-Cons, it also has the same motion control support, HD rumble, and NFC reader for amiibos, but it lacks the IR reader. So on it, you have nice and big responsive face and shoulder buttons, bigger analog sticks which are surprisingly buttery smooth, I love these things, and what some will consider to be the most important feature, a D-pad. It's actually a bit tough, and I've read here and there that some people don't like this D-pad, but I personally don't really have an issue with it. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's my favorite way to play the Switch next to handheld mode. Next, we have the Joy-Con charging grip, which is a bit deceiving. In a sense, it's unnecessary because you get a similar looking grip with your Switch, and the difference between that one and this one is minimal at best. The first is in the name. It has the ability to charge your Joy-Cons, but not as you expect. It doesn't have a battery in it. In the box, you get a USB-C cable, and that goes into the port at the top of the grip. That's how you charge the Joy-Cons, so you just attach them, and it has an LED to notify its status. Orange is charging, and green is fully charged. The other difference is that the charging grip has this cool-looking transparent plastic, but you can barely notice it. It needs to be illuminated to stand out. So yeah, it would have been really nice if it had a battery to wirelessly charge the Joy-Cons instead of being tethered by that cable. And it would have been also great if they added textured grips like the ones found on the Pro Controller. So there it is. I wouldn't really recommend this one unless you constantly use your Switch in TV mode and need to keep the Joy-Cons charged, or if you're like me, you bought some extra Joy-Cons and want to have a grip specifically for them. If you're planning on traveling anywhere with the Nintendo Switch, you're going to need a case to protect the exposed plastic screen and those analog sticks. So here we have the Game Traveler Deluxe Travel Case by RDS Industries. Reason I picked this one up is because it's a hard shell case, which is very protective, and it's really small. So inside you'll see that it's vacuum formed to fit the Switch, which gives it slots for the triggers. It also comes with 2 red cases, which together can hold 8 games, as well as 4 micro SD cards that have their own little cases. Those cases then slide right into these slots, and below that you have a bit of room for earbuds. The Switch goes right in and locks into place with this soft padded pouch up here that attaches via this Velcro tab. There's not that much room in that pouch, but it gives you enough to fit some cables or the Joy-Con straps in there. And that's pretty much it. You can carry it via the handle or just put it in a bag like I do. If you plan to travel with your Switch along with the dock and other accessories, you don't want to use a normal bag where everything can slam into each other in there. That's why I picked up the Game Traveler Deluxe System Case by RDS Industries. Same as its smaller brother, it's hard shell, which helps prevent anything inside from getting crushed, and it's also vacuum formed. It has slots for the Nintendo Switch console with Joy-Cons attached, the dock, and Joy-Con grip, or Pro Controller. There's also slots on the sides to store additional accessories. In fact, it comes with a pouch for cables, and the same 2 cases for games, and the mini cases for those micro SD cards. I'm big on kits and having bags for those kits, which is why I wanted this, and it works really well. Nothing moves inside due to those vacuum formed slots, and it actually got a lot of stuff in it. It's not the most stylish solution, but it still works really well. After having the hard shell for a few weeks, I wanted something really simple to store my Switch when I'm at home or at the office. That's when I stumbled upon this beautiful pouch by Waterfield. This one in my hands is made of ballistic nylon that feels really good in hand. It's got 2 compartments. The main one unzips from the top all the way to the bottom side, which lets you open it really wide. This way you don't have to worry about your analog sticks rubbing up against something. The material inside is really nice and soft plush, which hugs the console and keeps the screen clean. Now when it's closed, you won't have to worry about it opening on its own because it has these awesome locking zippers. Then on the side here we have this little strap so you can attach it to things. I added a carabiner that I had. Now the second compartment is right here in the front. It's half the size. It has this nice yellow lining and 2 compartments within it. You can put in all kinds of small accessories in here, games, a charging cable, or those Joy-Con straps, but you don't want to go crazy with it since it's right up against the Switch. So my one problem with it is pretty obvious: protection. It's not a hard shell case, so if something slams up against this, it won't really protect the Switch. I personally don't mind that at all. I knew that coming in. This is more for everyday carry than, say, if I was traveling with more stuff. It's lightweight, it's easy to use, it's extremely low profile, and it's very stylish. I love this pouch. Next up, something I normally hate, and that is a screen protector. I think it just looks tacky and no one gets it on perfectly. There's always bubbles, sometimes there's dust, and it just looks gross, and I never liked it. But I honestly feel that the Nintendo Switch is in dire need of one due to that large, exposed plastic screen. The one I got is tempered glass and made by AmFilm, but there's multiple brands out there which I'm sure work just as well. Now, it was actually pretty difficult to install. I haven't done this for a while. The good thing is that they included 2 of them, so feel free to mess up that first one. Eventually, I did nail the second one, but the problem was that I didn't get it 100% straight. It's slightly crooked, so now the screen serves as a constant reminder of my failure. I don't know if it was a simple oversight, but the dock that comes with the Switch doesn't have an Ethernet port. At home, I prefer to play hardwired because it's more reliable than a Wi-Fi connection, and to be honest, no one likes to disconnect in the middle of a game. So that's why I picked up this USB Ethernet adapter by uGreen. There's also an officially licensed one that's overpriced and has terrible reviews, so I'm not going to suggest that one, but this one didn't cost much and it works really well. So this accessory is actually hilarious to me, but I think it's sadly necessary. This is a dock sock, and it protects the screen, but only from getting scratched by the dock, hence the name. I got this specific one on Etsy from a seller called Active Patch. They offer a few different designs, but what I wanted was a custom one, so I just sent them a vector file, and here it is. The front side here is slightly padded while the back is thinner and made of a really soft cotton. Not sure what Nintendo was thinking with those harsh plastic edges in there, but now I just don't really have to worry about it. So yeah, Active Patch on Etsy, they were very kind and helpful, so if you're interested, go support them and pick one up. I'll have links in the description below. If you watched our review, one of the cons with the Nintendo Switch is that you can't charge it while using the kickstand in tabletop mode. So if you want to use it angled, instead of laying flat on a table, you're going to want something like this Hori Playstand. I really hope I said that right. It's Hori, right? Hori? Anyways, the stand is made of a sturdy plastic and it folds down to about ½ an inch. It has 3 adjustable angles, 30, 50, and 60 degrees with rubber feet to prevent it from moving. The front flap that holds the Switch pops right out, and it has this cutout in the bottom so you can connect the charging cable via this route below, which I like. It prevents it from getting in the way. It's also nice and wide so it won't wobble around, and the most important feature, it has an open back for vent airflow. If you don't have that, you risk having your Switch overheat. My problem with this stand is that it's actually pretty big. It's just about the size of the console. I'm not sure how they could have cut down on the size, but the issue here is that it doesn't fit in my normal cases, so I don't really have it on me at all times. Nonetheless, it works really well, and it's a must-have for those of you who love to play in tabletop mode. Let me begin by saying that I'm returning this. One of the first Nintendo Switch accessories I was looking for was a shell, maybe soft shell or a hard shell like this one, to help protect it from bumps and scratches, so I picked up one of these. It's a generic brand which is sold under different names and it's okay at best. The material is this hard crystal plastic that arrived with small cracks here and there, so it fits nice and snug and locks into place with these little pegs that slide into the screw holes on the back, which it was scary to put this on. I didn't want to scrape the plastic on the device, so I can only imagine how difficult it's going to be to remove this. For the most part, the cutouts work really well and it still gives you access to the essentials. Then on the back of the Joy-Cons, they added these ergonomic extruded grips, which don't really do much for me, at least nothing that I noticed. Now, one thing I do like is that you can still separate the Joy-Cons from the console, but the biggest flaw here is that the release button is near impossible to reach because it's surrounded by this plastic shell. You're gonna need something to reach in there, like a pencil or something pointy. So if you only play in handheld mode and you don't remove the Joy-Cons, this may work for you. But if you're like me and go from handheld to TV mode, this doesn't fit in the dock, so you're gonna have to remove the shell every time. That's why I'm returning it. And that wraps it up. If we missed something here, if there's a better accessory out there, please let us know in the comments below so we can unbox them later on. And as for now, we'll see you for the next box. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to help us out, you can do so by clicking that thumbs up button. And while you're at it, why not subscribe for more content? It's free. We also love to hear you out, so please leave a comment down below or talk with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Sergio IM, and I'll see you for the next box.